Hey guys, welcome back to the Outriders podcast, official podcast of digital and creative media works. Each week we taste over pop culture and try to break it down to better understand it. My name is David.
My name is Ben.
We're actually not doing that this week.
Yeah, no, that's not
week.
that's not at all what today's episode is about.
We've lied through our fucking teeth. To no
From the
one's,
AFA where we don't do any of that
yeah,
stuff.
to no one's surprise. We're in the middle of setting up sort of a new semi-permanent setup that's going to let us do like multi-cam
if you're watching this
stuff.
on YouTube, it probably looks
really
a bit
different.
weird. It probably sounds different as well, actually.
It always sounds different when we move this stuff around, but it's
Yeah.
normally not too bad because of these mics. They're pretty...
If you've got them audiophile headphones, you'll
Yeah,
be able to notice the minute details and map out the room
probably
based
not.
entirely off the sound.
Probably not because YouTube ruins fucking audio compression. So this week we're doing a Q&A because it's the end of the month and we're about to kind of start transitioning into some different content. Like we've got a producer coming aboard.
Oh boy.
So
To produce some productions.
yeah, and it's going to be a bit more formal and a bit different. Well, not more formal, but like just a different kind of style. I'm still going to say cunt a lot.
Formal.
But it's going to be like better produced. So
Right.
we're kind of in the middle of that. So we figured like while we kind of this week set some stuff up, we figured we'd do a Q&A instead of trying to put ourselves through watching content as well.
I'm going to have to stop myself from rapping on this table with my hands because I do that a lot. So
It doesn't
it's
come
gonna-
up too unless you use your nails, you should be
I
fine.
use my nails.
You
That's the thing.
Well, it could be worse. You could like sit there and tear off a beer bottle label into the microphone.
Yeah,
like
I
you
could do
always
that. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, David, why did it take you 3 hours to edit the podcast? Because of fucking Ben. So I've got a list of questions. You can see, like, I've, in the most expeditious way possible, I put them in a table.
Nice. And with a source. Wow,
yeah.
that's a very varied source.
Yeah.
Source of questions
Thanks, man. So I might
all over the internet.
might flick you a few of these to ask us. Basically, what I did was, over the course of like a year, so we do these about once a year.
It's been a while.
I just gather up questions people ask me through like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and places like that. I put them into a document and then frequently lose the source of where they came from. So there is about 10 questions at the end that they're just a grab bag for I don't know where the fuck they're from or who they're from.
Mystery questions.
Yeah, but by and large, like, so a few of them are from Patreon and other places like that. Someone is vacuuming.
Yeah.
Sounds like inside of my ear hole.
So like we're not recording on the regular day as well, which is why we're wearing different clothing.
Yeah,
At least
it's not Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, while I am wearing different clothing.
This is kind of an off week for us. We'll see how we go. So first question comes from JB via Twitter. And JB says...
Just JB.
I didn't write down the Twitter handle.
Joe Blogs.
Joey
Bonanza.
Joey Boy. And JB asks, is there a YouTuber creator you watch but don't really like?
Shit.
Someone that I watch but I don't really like. I'll drop into like PewDiePie sometimes and check out what he's up to.
I used to hate watch a few channels, but I came off the bit. Probably...
It's just a time thing, right? Like as you get to a certain age.
Yeah, and I had a lot of spare time. So, like, you know, when the creators I liked didn't have anything up, I would watch stuff I hate.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the stuff I used to really hate was a YouTuber called Barnacules. I forget his name.
Sure, why not?
Like Nerdicule. I don't know. But he was like sort of a weird tech YouTuber. I really disliked him because for a long time, I mean, part of it is because his image is just, I don't like the sort of like man cave, like hyper nerd kind of image that he portrays. I thought it was just walking and just a walking cliche.
Was it like a bit put on as well?
Yeah, and he was like a tech YouTuber with a lot of disposable income, so he would sort of like get into a hobby, sort of quote unquote get into a hobby, or like get into like a piece of tech and make videos about it that was sort of just like kind of wrong, like just enough wrong that if you didn't know about it you would believe it, but if you know a lot about it you just see straight through it. So like when he did a lot of like 3D printing stuff, which was just sort of like nauseating because it's like, whoa, my dude, you're doing it all wrong. And then he like did a video on like mechanical keyboards that had like an aneurysm. So like
you just liked watching that it was all wrong.
It just made me so angry, and like I don't really do that much anymore because I don't have the time to get angry at people.
It's such hard work. I'm looking for my subs and I can't.
He's probably the only YouTuber that I would like watch, like binge all of his stuff and just hate every. I just hate all of it.
I don't know that there's anyone that I like that I watch who I don't expect. I mean, I watch Sugar Pine 7, and I don't think they're amazing, but I watch them just because they're the only people doing what they're doing on the internet.
Right.
So like keeping up with like their next projects because no one is doing anything similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, like generally speaking, like I just watch stuff that I really like. I've been getting into People Be Like, which is a William Haynes brought his channel back after SourceFed ended.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
really fucking good. He does it's like a live late night show, but in his apartment. And there's like an audience and like live
Oh, that's
instruments.
so weird.
But like it's in an apartment block, so every now and then you'll hear the people downstairs tapping on the floor with a broom.
Oh my
It's
fucking god.
incredible. It is one of the
so dumb.
best produced shows I've ever seen. But I shouldn't recommend stuff. The question was about stuff we didn't like.
No, yeah, don't watch what I recommended. It's really not good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no one that I watch that I dislike, but I'll drop into like PewDiePie sometimes. He's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
He just kind of doesn't do anything especially exciting anymore. Next question comes from anonymous via email. They've asked that I don't mention their name.
Was it you, David? Were you just asking yourself questions?
That'd be so good. I should do that next
You should
time.
start doing that.
David, why are you so
idea.
handsome? Why are you so handsome? Also, I don't know how this document's like a year and a half old, so I imagine some of the anonymous ones are ones that I've just left and forgotten.
Yeah, these might be really old.
Or like emails that I just
Super irrelevant.
I didn't write anything down, and at the time I was like anonymous, but instead of like actually doing something with it.
Fair enough.
So the question comes from anonymous via email. We'll call them Gary. Gary asks, "What projects have you started but never finished?"
Oh my god,
There's
so many. What
God.
project? You like that's
There's so many.
You can't ask any person who makes things that question,
There's
and
so
like
many.
I honestly I can't tell you. Like there's not from a their secret, but I just don't know.
I mean, I
there's
know
just so many.
One of them we can't talk about. But
what one?
the
Like
game,
again,
the game that we worked on. We can't talk about that.
That's probably the biggest one.
Because that also like still might happen in the future in some
and
capacity.
that's like actually got tape around it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we like that. We were working on a game at one point, and it just became a time thing that we just couldn't finish it.
We just,
but like stuff that I haven't finished. I mean, like I start videos all the time. I think there's a question about this later, so I don't want to like ruin the answer to that later on. But
right.
I start a lot of videos and scripts and stuff. Like I'll get into the research phase, and I'll be like, 20 hours into the research, and then go, oh, actually, this isn't something that I want to talk about. Like I'll realize from the research that either it's been a lot of the time it's either been covered in a way that I think does it better justice than I could, or the thing that I wanted to talk about is resolved in some way. So like I'm trying to think of an example.
Just runs its course, and you're like, oh, well,
yeah,
time's gone.
There was a video that I was working on for Darkest Dungeon, which was looking at like it was an expression that someone used, which was like I don't know what the word is. It's not fractalization, but it was like the fragmentation of turn-based games into like a bunch of categories, and why certain ones were looked at as like legitimate games, and some of them were like like Final Fantasy, like kind of Japanese weeaboo crap, and like why that distinction came about and how that happened. And I was going to look at like that in the context of Darkest Dungeon and like a Western developer picking up the roots of Adventure Quest and stuff, but it just became too big. Like the script was like an hour long. Yeah. I just looked at it and I went, I could do this, but it's going to take me 6 months. So that's something that I would love to come back to at some point if we ever get enough money that I can do this full time. But yeah. Stuff like that, it's usually things that I don't finish because it's just like I realize it's gonna take me too long to do.
Yeah, a lot of my unfinished projects are either too big or they're so small that I just kind of don't see the point in continuing them.
Yeah, well, you're like
it's so small and insignificant that it still requires work, but it's like it's not like the kind of small thing that you churn out in a few hours
like
and then throw it out, and then it's just like you don't really give a shit about it. It's like it's something small that you actually have to put thought into it, but then you're like, well, if I'm gonna put this much effort into something, I may as well do something bigger. But then of course, bigger things. So yeah, many things.
A lot. Yeah,
a lot.
There's a lot of specific. I mean, if you followed us for a long time, like we've done stuff that I think really had potential. I mean, like
just look at my GitHub. Like you'll see you'll see them all on my GitHub account.
Ooh, there's a doozy.
It's a lot of stuff there.
Actually, yeah, don't look at my GitHub because it is a lot. Yeah, but just like stuff that you just don't fucking have time to finish it, or like you realize someone's done it, or it's too late, or like there was a Blade Runner script that I worked on for like I don't know a month.
I mean, yeah,
and then I just went, I'll wait till Cyberpunk comes out and I'll publish it then. Like I just was like, oh well, it's gonna be more relevant when Cyberpunk is big again. Yeah. So I'll wait till that comes out. And then that transmorphed into an Altered Carbon script that's going to come out next month. So it's like,
fair enough,
you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can read this next one.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. I've kept it simple. I've been crossing them
from,
out for those of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, first question was going to be like, wow. Next question from Charlotte in Canada. Wow, in Canada.
A while
as,
ago,
as
I
the
asked
Australians say.
people to send us questions with also where they're from,
Yeah, fair enough.
and then I stopped asking that. So some of them have that, some of them don't.
So this is from YouTube.
Mhm.
I'm about to start high school next year, so you may already be in high school. Who knows?
Yep,
I
could
enjoy
be.
your videos for the same reason as Yogscast and a few other channels. You guys seem really confident. Is there any advice you can give? Is there any?
no.
I just thought of my answer.
Oh,
Is there any advice you can give me for my first year of high school coming? It's all fake. It's just fake it till you make it. I like my confidence is entirely.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough. Confidence is like something you have to manufacture, and if you do it for long enough,
It's
you
100%
stop
fake.
pretending, and it
Like,
just is who you are.
If you just pretend that you're the most confident person in the room, you'll probably end up actually just being the most confident person in the room.
Right. Yeah. That was my strategy for a long time.
Yeah.
And I never stopped doing it.
And I mean, when you're doing a web show, it's like it's easy to ignore the audience.
yeah, I think when we were
there is a difference between someone's confidence on in like a YouTube channel
and in like real life.
and then like real life.
I think the difference with us though is because when we were doing live streams and stuff, because this would have been around that, it was like 9 months ago. When we were doing live streams with like James and PUBG and stuff, which we'll do something with that again later, probably soon. There was an element to that stuff where I think we came across as quite confident in those streams because we weren't like playing too much to the audience. It was like we would. The thing that someone pointed out to me after we stopped doing it might have been Adam, actually, that Adley, check him out on YouTube. It was that we didn't like play too much. Like we liked the fact that there was an audience, but we used it as an add-on to our content and our conversations, not like the focal point. Like the focal point wasn't to like shout out people in the chat.
Yeah.
It was like the fact that we had an audience and we were able to use them was like a nice bonus. So I think in high school that was something that we also did pretty well, is like we pretended to be quite chill and fine with everything, and then anything else was like a nice bonus.
Yeah,
I think.
like you can be confident in different ways. I feel you can just kind of, if you being bold, I think is hard. Like that's what a lot of people sort of see as confidence, is sort of being
right,
kind of out there and actually putting yourself sort of like in front of people and stuff like that.
And
But
you can overdo that.
Yeah, you can kind of get away with just sort of, just if you just take a chill pill in literally every situation.
Yeah,
and just kind of
really think before you speak.
Then there's a difference between like being like a doormat, not a doormat, being like a pot plant. That's the one. Being a potted plant,
Yeah.
and being sort of just like in the space. And I think that's the main thing. You just listen. Just like let people talk about themselves.
Yeah, listening is a huge thing. Yeah.
People love to talk about themselves. That's the only reason we have this web show.
Right. Yeah. Well,
And
because
if
it's
you
like
just-
stuff that we like. Yeah.
And if you just ask questions and let people talk,
Yeah.
then they will be comfortable just saying things to you. You just have to kind of just take it and then just.
Well, that's what being a grown-up is. Like, ultimately, like, I think one of the things that I took away from high school was, before we went to school together, especially when I was in, like, grade 8 and 9, so everyone is kind of young and everyone's, like, working out who they are.
Yeah.
If you can work out a really consistent sort of personality that you're really comfortable with, that isn't too definitive, people are naturally gravitate towards you because you have something they don't. Like everyone else around you, and this was just because I realized who I was pretty early on. This isn't like a cheat sheet or anything. But yeah, like high school for me, I got along with a lot of people because they went, oh, he's pretty stable and like he's kind of very consistent with who he is. Like I wasn't turning around every 3 weeks and having like a new phase or like a new personality. Like I've kind of always been the same.
And also high school, you have like 2 more chances. Like
right, yeah.
Like so going into high school, it's okay. Like that's one opportunity to sort of change yourself in a pretty radical way.
Yeah.
You have, post high school, whatever you're doing, usually if you're going to like tertiary education, then you have like actually becoming an adult, where it's
Like a
like
job.
going into your first job.
Yeah.
It's like you have plenty of opportunities to just reinvent yourself.
So really
if you don't get it right the first time.
spin your wheels with the high school thing and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Worst that happens is
Study hard,
worst
go
that happens
wild,
is you
don't
wait
do
for
drugs,
wait for
stay
summer
in school.
break, come back, reinvent yourself again.
Yeah,
Also, do drugs if it helps you with your anxiety. I don't know. You like if that's what you need
only
to do.
take drugs if they've been prescribed to you by a medical
doctor.
professional.
Next question comes from Melbourne. I haven't written down who it's from, but it's from the email.
It's just from Melbourne.
We'll say it's from Frankie Muniz in Melbourne.
Frankie Muniz.
And Frankie asks, are there any old videos you especially like or dislike?
Like of ours or just like in general?
No, I assume of ours. I don't think they were asking like, what's your least favorite Auntie Donna video? Any videos of ours that I especially like or I really like that Harry Potter antagonist video that I did because Crystal did the best animation for
Right,
that.
yeah, I remember that one.
And it just came together really beautifully. There's nothing I dislike especially. I think there was some stuff that we did that we could have done better. But at the time, like, a lot of it seemed like it was the best we could have done. So I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, what's the video? I don't know. The Subnautica video did okay. I like that one.
The first, the Potato Clinic one. Yeah, I'm really proud of that one. Actually, I'm proud of all of that. All the Potato Clinics we did, I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
Because we both kind of had an equal hand in a lot of those, where, like, you would do a lot of the writing and then record it, and then I'd do all the editing. The Subnautica one was all you.
It was all me.
I looked at the script and I kind of edited it.
You edited the script.
I was more of, like, a kind of editing role.
The entire intro to that video was your writing as well.
Yeah,
because you needed an intro.
It had because I wanted to like set the tone, but then the rest of it was you. So like stuff like that stuff I'm really proud of.
Videos I hate.
Videos I hate. No, you go because I
probably anything on my personal channel. I'm not a huge fan of. None of that stuff is any good.
I'm looking at our most popular upload playlist.
It's like.
And it's a lot of pretty good stuff, but the one that I fucking hate that's got 16,000 views is that Darker Than Black video I did. The script is good and the production is good, but the narration in it is dog shit. I don't know what I was doing, but like everything was too slow. I was trying to be like too meaningful.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like fucking NPR podcast voice, and I don't sound like that.
There's a few videos like that on my personal channel which are a bit shit.
No, that's
sort of NPR, yeah.
But that and like everything we've done with BoJack Horseman, I'm super proud of because that's a show that we just like, and I like that. The videos that I'm the most proud of, generally speaking, are ones where it stimulates really interesting discussion in the comments. That isn't just like hatred.
You know, one of my favorite videos is it would have been the videos I did with Tasty Bacon. What were they? The Exudes Excellence.
I fucking love those.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
You did a video.
Yeah,
on that channel about
great,
about Greenlight.
It was Steam Greenlight back when they were like burying everything in
Yeah.
NDAs and no one knew how it worked, and I
That was
had to like
You had to like dig through it.
it was really
that was a weird one.
that was like I did some journalism in that.
Yeah,
That was weird. That was a cool video.
It's a while ago. It's like 2012.
You can do the next one.
All right. What are some of your favorite podcasts from Patrick Laverne from Patreon?
What's up, Patrick? Patrick is also popping off in our Patreon chat.
Cool.
He doesn't necessarily enjoy my anti-Marvel rhetoric, but
anti-Marvel. I thought you loved Marvel.
Well, I don't like big Marvel.
Big Marvel.
Yeah.
You like small, manageable
small
Marvel.
What was the fucking question? I've already forgotten.
What are some of your favorite?
Let me bring up my app. You don't really do podcasts so much, do you? Oh, you do now that you have a job.
I do them super occasionally.
I mean, Reply All. If you're not listening to Reply All, you gotta get on board with that.
Dad and Sons, which is the Super Bunny Hop podcast.
Yep, it's a good one. I do. If you guys don't know, like Sanspants Radio and Planet Broadcasting, I can't really recommend them because I've worked with. But like they're great and they're all really cool dudes.
Yeah.
Check them out on all of the platforms.
Yeah,
I've been on a few of their shows and stuff. So what do I got? I got
Jim Sterling's podcast, the Jim Pod something. I think it's just the Jim Sterling podcast.
The Jim Sterling Pod.
No, it's Podquisition. That's what it's called.
Podquisition. That's a great name.
Yeah, those are the only ones I listen to.
I recommend Heavyweight, which is a Gimlet. Anything by Gimlet, but Heavyweight, which is great because it's a very like surreal look at life. And then also The Habitat, which was the podcast which is comprised of recordings from inside that dome where they simulated people being on Mars for a year and they were all trapped in there.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating because it's just this study of humans in a jar, basically. Yeah. And spoilers, two of them may be fucked. No one knows.
Hell yeah.
No one's sure.
I'm gonna get in on that.
And I can't recommend it, but you should listen to it, which is the Auntie Donna podcast.
Oh god,
it's impossible to listen to because it's a nightmare. But it's just
because it's Australian.
It's just three good improv boys improving at each other. Next question comes from nope. It's RU, and then clearly I've meant to type the rest of the name. Nice. We'll call him
Ruben.
Ruben asks via email.
Sorry, Ruben.
What's one unpopular opinion you have, and why do you have it? And this is a follow-up, which I'll wait till at the end. So, what's one unpopular opinion you have, and why do you have it?
Fuck, I don't know. That's you spring all these.
I really liked Han Solo. I really liked it. And everyone fucking roasted me for it when I came out of that film. I really like that, and the reason I like it is that I had a decent time with it. I know it's not like a masterpiece, but it was a genre that I'm not seeing enough. The Western is basically dead, and they revived it in a kind of different setting, which I really enjoyed.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Because you're pretty like
I'm pretty mellow.
pretty fucking vanilla with a lot of
most of my opinions are pretty common.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that you say where I'm like, what a fucking lunatic. You really liked Natural Selection 2, which a lot of people did. And then after that,
it's a good game.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. But I remember like some people were like not.
It's like it just died off. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, my opinions are pretty.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you have any crazy unpopular opinions. No. We tend to be pretty like above board with everything. Yeah.
I don't hold any like hard opinions that I can think of at the top of my head.
If we think of some, we'll come back to
I'll come back. I'll just scream it into the microphone at random points.
Ruben gives us a follow-up, which is follow-up. Are there any opinions you have that have suddenly become unpopular because of the internet?
Yes.
Interesting. I feel like a lot of a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, or at least a lot of opinions change because of the internet, or at least the perception of those opinions.
Yeah.
Well, you have to, like, pretty much anything that's popular goes through that kind of phase.
I was about to say like we really
Rick and Morty.
I was going to say Rick and Morty was the big one because like we really we like that show, but we hate everything around it.
Yeah.
So
that's
does the opposite. One. Yeah, that's a good one.
I guess like sort of an unpopular opinion may be like, I don't know, like finding shows like BoJack Horseman like meaningful and like worth watching.
Yeah.
But again, that comes from the fact that it's so popular that you just get the contrarian. Yeah.
Yes, and that's always like a thing where people will try and like over.
People will try to compensate.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
What?
The people who like, so an unpopular opinion I have is people hate the fact that like, so like Wisecrack, for example, is a channel. They don't like the fact that they overanalyze everything, but I fucking love it. Because what they're promoting is like education and critical thinking.
Right.
And they do, if you're not listening to their podcasts, that's a podcast recommendation, is Wisecrack have like a movie podcast and then like a philosophy one they do. And they're so fucking good because they're live shows that you can watch on the YouTube channel when it's happening.
Yeah.
Or just on the iTunes feed later. But they are honestly some of my favorite shows. And like they've done them with like a few really big people. Like they've done with like Adam Kovic and a few other people like that. And they are just fascinating. It's like they'll talk about one film or like a game or like a TV show, but just like at length in a chill setting. But they're people that have like actual qualifications to discuss like the philosophies of things. And it's really, I find it deeply fascinating.
I just thought of an opinion.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about this like last night. I find that people who like DMing in D&D, this is a deep cut.
Yeah, go for it.
Is pure narcissism.
Only if you're not good at it.
Just 100%. Like no matter what, it's pure narcissism. Because so there's storytelling, right? And you got to be a bit like storytelling has elements of like you want other people to care about the story that you're telling.
You have to be a lunatic to want to write a book. Yes.
Yeah, but being a dungeon master is storytelling and having other people be characters in your story.
That is an unpopular opinion.
It's pure narcissism,
I agree,
right?
I agree.
Like it's 100% just like I think I'm important enough that my story is not only important enough to tell other people, but to have other people partake in.
I only agree to an extent.
Yeah,
with a passion.
So every DM has flaws.
Yeah, I agree. But that's like I don't really.
But then again, I really don't like D&D anymore. Like I've jumped off that bat. Like I got sick of it.
You get to a certain point.
I enjoyed it for a long time, but now I just fucking hate it.
No, I agree. I'm much the same. I think
so that's my unpopular opinion. I think D&D is just kind of hot garbage.
That's a fucking good answer.
Yeah.
Next question is really long, so Ben, you can read it.
Thanks. I'm now writing my first proper novel for university in my master's. Hooray. It's been a long project. Oh, it's been a long project. My intonation was off. You've both worked on stuff.
It's been a long project.
You've both been working on stuff for a long time, like David with his book and Ben with a lot of medium-term projects. That's rude.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
That feels like negging somehow.
Any advice for how you get through projects?
Oh.
So just getting through long projects?
Yeah. Because I've done a bunch. What
discipline.
Do you think? Yeah, it's...
you will not have enough motivation to get through a long project. You gotta
just do the work.
It's all just discipline.
One of the things that I do the most are like, if I have I've got like 4 or 5 projects on the go at the moment, and I just do a bit of each of them.
I mean, if you're doing it for your masters, that's probably motivation enough.
Yeah, but
it's worse when you're just doing a project for the sake of personal... But it's endeavor. Harder. That's even harder.
I don't know.
Because at least with like a master's, I don't know, external motivators, like a deadline for your master's, or just tell everyone that you're actually going to do it, and then
See, I never thrived with that kind of. We're both very different in that regard because I never thrive with that stuff because I think that other people are idiots. Like, and not idiots, but like, I think basically everyone else I know in my life is smarter than I am. But people in institutions tend not to be the smartest because of the systems they're in. Like, they can't behave in a smart way because of like where they work.
Sure.
So I never found motivation from people being like, do your homework, put in this assignment, turn this in at this time. Like, for me, that was never motivating. I just got it done because I had to.
Right.
I think like long-term projects or like even like short-term stuff, I just go, I'm going to do a tiny bit each, like, you know, when you don't want to fucking do it, you're like,
Yeah.
So like I've been editing the audiobook for my novel this like last month, and it is, editing audio of that fidelity is fucking excruciating.
Right.
Like, I'll do a whole chapter and then re-listen to it, be like, I missed
Missed so
3
many
inhales of
things.
breath.
Yeah.
I have to go back and re-scrub the whole thing. Like, it's just infuriating. But like, what I do is I'm like, okay, I'll do 5 minutes a day on each of the projects, and then whatever grabs me with the workflow,
You just go
I'll
with
do
it.
an extra half an hour, and then I'll do the thing that I plan to do that day. And even if you fucking don't want to do it, you just keep, you hit your head against the wall until you want to die.
Yeah.
Take a break, come back, try again.
There's this good article which turned into a TED talk called I don't know what it's called, but it's like it's about procrastination, and it's I think if you Google like procrastination and then like the what is it, the short term gain monkey, the short term gain monkey or something like that.
Did you say who that was from? It was from Maggie in Sydney via email.
Hello, Maggie and Sydney via email.
Hi.
Also,
congrats on getting into a master's for writing. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well done. I didn't. They didn't let me in. They were like, "Go fuck off."
Yeah, it's like the short term game monkey or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really good article, just sort of talking about procrastination and that kind of
of
thing.
On that note, like something that I do when I get stuck with like trying to get work done is I'll just jump on like Medium or somewhere like that and read just like.
Whenever I go on Medium, I'm like, oh, I should write something, but I realize I'm not a writer. Medium is very motivating.
I sometimes love it and I sometimes hate it. I hate people who try and. What I dislike about Medium is there's a lot of like self-motivational stuff on there that's absolute garbage. But what I like is like people who are like in the field talking about a thing. Yeah, so I'll just read. I'll read like a lot of science articles where it's just like a science dude talking about a science thing.
Yeah,
and that for whatever reason takes
no like call to action. It's
it just takes your mind off it, and you go, oh, that's my brain is firing a different neurons. I'm gonna try working again, and often just like refreshing can help.
But refresh to something that isn't just like a fucking like the monkey article talks about how like if you're gonna refresh, don't refresh to something that is like enjoyable, because then you will just never want to leave. You'll give in to the monkey.
Yeah. So that's why like if you've got so like if you've got something that you know that like a lecture that you need to watch.
I think it's like the short term enjoyment monkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a. I'm pretty sure you've linked that to me before, but
I think I did.
I'll try and throw it in the show notes if I remember. Next question comes from...
Won't,
I won't, but that's it comes from Joseph via email, and Joseph says, who is your current... Also, I've edited out most people's last names because...
For obvious reasons,
Joseph via email says, who is your current favorite musician / what are you listening to? Oh, Eminem just dropped a surprise album last night, so I've been listening to that.
Yeah. Probably like favorite musicians, like favorite band is probably the Cat Empire. Just that's always been
Ben's always been like that.
That's always been a constant. They've been releasing like one song a month, like in the lead up to their new album, and it's been real good. I'm seeing them live in September.
Yeah,
very excited. Like a couple weeks. Very
soon,
excited.
Man.
Yeah, I'm very hype.
Yeah.
Apart from that, don't know. Various things. I just kind of chuck on Spotify Discover and just go for a ride.
Just go. I'm looking at
listening to a lot of Draft.
Draft is dope. Yeah. His latest EP is fantastic.
I just like Jimmy Ricard. I think it's a really good song.
A lot of the stuff he does. He hated that era of his. Like he was pretty much like, if I kept doing that, I would have killed myself.
Like Jimmy Ricard and like
was that era? He just didn't want to make music, and he was doing it because his first album was popular.
Because he had that really popular song.
We had a bunch.
Like the hair one, fucking.
Oh, that was after
Cinderella one.
That was the album after.
Oh really?
It's like he did Jimmy Ricard, and that album was really big, and then he got really successful, and then he fucking hated it, and he was like, I don't want to make music anymore, and he bought a restaurant and ran a restaurant for a year and a half.
Right. Okay.
And then he released
back.
7 Mirrors, and had quit the restaurant and was like, I want to make music again, but for me. And then he started making like 7 Mirrors is incredible, that album. Right. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for Draft. He's a dude fucking like living his truth.
Yeah.
Whether that's good or bad, like he's at least doing it. I mean, like, I fuck with like Sydney Gish. I've been getting into a lot. She's kind of in my weird punk kind of scene. Jetty Bones is great.
You just got your Spotify open.
I'm looking at my Spotify. Blue October just released a new album. It's really good. It's fucking weird. Everything they do is weird, but it's pretty weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to like a lot. I listen to a lot of genres that are quite niche. Like I do like deep indie Australian punk stuff. Like lots of like Camp Cope, Georgia Mac. Yeah, people like Jetty Bones, like that kind of vibe. Yeah, no one fucking listens to what I listen to, so I can't really recommend anything because I sound like an indie.
Ken Empire are pretty,
a hipster.
they're
pretty accessible.
They're pretty accessible.
Yeah,
so give them a
check
listen.
them out. Actually, they have a few bangers that. A lot of everything they do is, but like the top of their Spotify is quite listenable. Yeah. Next question comes via email, and I've not written the name of the person down. They just have an apostrophe where their name should be. So we will call them
Frankie B.
Apostle because they have an apostrophe.
That's a good one.
Frankie B. the Apostle asks, "What's the most controversial video podcast you've put out? What's the most controversial?" We talk about this a lot, but the Shadow of War one.
Yeah, the Shadow of War one.
Which
that just fucking pissed some people off. I don't know why.
We triggered some nerds.
I think part of it is we there is some stuff in there that is just a little wrong. There is some stuff that's a little wrong.
The interesting thing is the podcast didn't get.
Well, the podcast was fine.
Was successful.
It
was the follow-up video that I made.
Yeah.
The issue I think that happened with that wasn't that it like. It's not that it was wrong. It's that
the video was a lot more. The podcast we sort of like went like, yeah, it's like without. Sort of, the game without like the system that we talked about is just sort of like this generic open world game, and we sort of touched on why that's a thing. In the video, we were sort of just like, without the system, it's just an open world game. Because a lot of people took that as being like a major point, even though that was, and they were like, well, yeah, of course it is.
The title of the video was, why isn't Nemesis everywhere? Because that's a question that people keep asking. They're like, if the system is so great, why isn't it in other games?
Yeah.
And that was what I sought to answer it, because I'd done like 20 hours of research for that podcast, because I fell into a fucking rabbit hole, right? And the whole point of the video is to like extrapolate and expand on that and go, okay, well, actually, because like the podcast we did was like, how does it work? Then my next thought was like, wait, why the fuck isn't everyone doing this? Yeah. And the answer is like, because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors that take a fucking long time to work out and get right. But people interpreted that as us calling the system bad.
Or like calling it fake, even though
literally the end of the video, fake. I go, this is one of my favorite ideas in a game I've ever seen.
I think the video just came out weird and maybe just hit. I
don't know. People were just very
people who really hate that video.
I think maybe just like people.
It did well. Don't get me wrong, it did well. But
I think maybe the thing is like people who like that style of video game maybe aren't super into critical thinking about their games. They just want to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, fair enough. You can enjoy
you can enjoy it, but like listen to.
We did tear into it.
You called it
the first half of the video. We tear into it.
Yeah, and then I'm just like really positive. I don't know. It's exactly. They don't want to. The minute you say something's bad, they check it out.
That's probably the one that got the most heat. I have a personal video where I made a Dirty Bomb video when I used to play that game competitively, where I really dug into like the movement system of that game, and I really like wanted to figure out like how to sort of optimize movement in the game, because it had like little inklings of being able to like do cool movement stuff. So I made this video of just sort of some of my findings, and I had the goal to describe a maneuver where jumping repeatedly conserves your momentum for like 3 jumps. And I was like, you can bunny hop. I was just like, you can bunny hop. But that's, I was like, you jump repeatedly. Every other game that has that mechanic just calls it bunny hop. So I was like, yeah, and I just sort of colloquially was just like, yeah, you can bunny hop twice before you lose speed.
Mm-hmm.
And people ripped into me for calling it bunny hopping. Because people were like, you can't call it bunny hopping if you don't gain speed when you do it. I was like, what? Like, what? Like, but there is no, I was like, in other games, sure, like bunny hopping is you gain speed with it. I was like, you can't gain speed while jumping repeatedly in this game. So like, nothing else is, it's not like it's not like bunny hopping exists and I was calling this bunny hopping when it wasn't.
Yeah.
I just was like, it's jumping repeatedly. People chewed me out for that one detail.
I mean,
and I was like, all right, never mind. I'll fucking never make a video again on Dirty Bomb.
I mean, you have Dirty Bomb videos got a fuck ton. I was like, first
I have a few of them that have a lot.
5.2k views, 2.2k views, 2.3k
yeah, they're okay.
views, 3k views.
I think that bunny hop one got like 2.
That's 3k.
So, yeah, and like, people riffed me into
Jesus.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a funny one.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. People are just really sensitive about weird shit.
Yeah, that I was very confused about the heat that one got.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
relatively small heat because it was a small game.
Right, but like still, people
Quite like everyone ripped me into
people
it.
get
Yeah.
really mad really quickly. And that's just like because the internet lets you respond immediately.
Yeah.
What I
And
like
anonymously and
yeah, like there's no barrier to
just being angry. Yeah.
something that really shits me to absolute tears. Like that act, like it doesn't bother me, but like something that I go, like I wish this wasn't something that we all did. Is I'll spend like 30 to 40 hours like researching an antagonist video. Most of that production for that channel is research because it takes so fucking long to pick something apart and like find the theory to back it up. And like, okay, essays fundamentally are an emotional response that you try and then explain with theory. That's like what an essay is. And like, I know that's what it is. And people will comment, be like, well, this isn't factual. You're just saying your opinion. And I'm like, do you not understand?
Welcome to 90% of essays.
Well, like, also, do you not understand, like, what the word essay means?
Yeah, I think
essay, like, and
some
like,
people,
okay,
it could be an issue where people just assume that essays have to be factual. Where you can write an essay that's a pure opinion.
but like, no, it's people want essays to be journal articles,
Right?
and even journal articles, even with research, have bias, and like, I don't know, it bothers me that like they then respond to you like their opinion is equally valid because they disagree with you, and I'm open for criticism. I like when people are like, hey, I think this is what about this, and you go, oh fuck, I never thought of that. What I hate is when they dismiss what you've done as opinion, and you're like, great, just ignore my 27 sources and my 40 hours of research.
Yeah.
But then I guess like people don't think of it like that. They go, oh well, and yeah,
It's a 10-minute video.
Yeah, you can pull any amount of links into a description to support any argument you want. But like, I fucking do my best to make those as informed as I can. And every now and then I'll just see a comment that like dismisses everything I've done, and I'm like,
Oh well.
it sucks that you haven't.
I mean, at the same time, it's just one person.
Right, but it's like for me, I'm like, it sucks that they haven't engaged critically with it.
Right.
That's what I'm most disappointed in. I'm like, you had the opportunity here to
Not
learn.
mad, just disappointed.
And yeah, exactly. Like you've had the opportunity to learn, you chose not to, and that sucks for you. No, and like that does bother me because I feel like that's something we're trending toward. The next section that we've got to end this out is like a rapid fire grab bag.
All right.
I've put in brackets questions in my Google Doc that I don't know who asked or where they're from.
So if you ask them tough shit, you get no shout outs.
Yeah, no shout outs whatsoever, nor do I know where they're from.
Yeah.
They were just like in the Google Doc.
They were just there.
So first question is, how did Adley start working with you guys?
Pure accident.
Yeah, I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't remember how any people who work for us started working for us.
No, I think with
It's a
Adam,
mystery. Ask him. He probably doesn't know either.
No, fuck, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he watched our streams on YouTube.
Yeah,
when we were with
yeah.
James.
He was one of the stream people. He was there like on like every stream, and he just became like a meme. And then we realized he had a channel.
Yeah, and now
I think he was like sort of reaching out in a way as well.
and now he and I live stream every week, so I don't know how that happened. Also, yeah, if you want to catch that, we live stream. It's European time 9 p.m. I don't know which. I think it's
What European time? There's like 12 of them.
Ireland somewhere or
Ireland.
Yeah. Ireland. Yeah, they do, it's like 9 p.m. there. It's like 6 a.m. for me on Saturdays.
It's like
so.
GMT minus
fucking
one.
makes my
Or
brain
like
melt.
just straight GMT.
I wake up at 6 a.m. every Saturday to live stream with him, and
Oh, good fun.
I'm already so tired, and it's only like 3 p.m. Yeah, I fucking super don't remember. Skipping that one because it doesn't make any sense. You've talked a lot about why you don't like anime. Could you elaborate? And are there any anime you really like?
Okay, anime I really like.
Yeah, start with that.
Baccano, it's really good. It's like a
Laura told me to watch
It's like a 20s, very like pulp fiction-y kind of anime. The reason why I don't like anime, nothing against the art style generally, but
I think it's restricted by the tropes.
yeah, tropes. Just a lot of tropes.
Yeah, it's restricted by
And part of that is the culture. I'm not super into Japanese culture. So.
Well, like, yeah.
I like the food. The food's good.
Food's good.
Like culture, could do without.
But like, I think
no. I'm not condoning
no, but like in the entertainment medium, like,
I've never been. Yeah,
it doesn't add anything for me when like they have a like a cat face moment or like anything like that stuff doesn't for me to punch any buttons that I need.
And
in
it's
my
like
media.
the sort of like the over the topness. I can get into that when they really like ham it up and like that's the joke.
Or
but
when
like
it's really fucking good.
yeah, but when it's just Naruto
Like a Dragon
or
Ball
like
Z,
it's just like
it's too much.
could
I
do
like
without.
the only anime that I like and can recommend is Darker Than Black. It's I think regardless of whether it's an anime or not, it's one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just we've talked about
Miyazaki films are incredible, but that's just Japanese animation
just
at its
art.
peak with amazing writing, and that's different.
There's an anime film on Netflix called Your Name or My Name.
Say,
and that's
like,
really
say
good.
My Name or something.
Yeah,
it's
something like that. There's
mute?
a deaf kid and they
a mute,
trade. I can't remember how it works, but it's really good. And
it's really good.
I cried. I saw it on a plane and I cried, and then I saw it not on a plane and I cried. That means it's actually
so that it's not just 27 dresses.
Yeah, where it's like when you see it on a plane, you cry and
you really love it.
and you recommend it to everyone, and they're like, "Dude, you gotta stop."
Is it 27 dresses? What's the film you keep
Begin
recommending?
Again.
Begin Again.
That was the film that I saw on
Pretty
a
sure
plane.
you keep changing the film. It's not Beginning. It's like it's
Wait, the film that I keep recommending, or the one that
the
for
one
a
you keep
long
recommending.
Time, I don't fucking remember.
It's like, is it the diary? Like what Prince's so and so's diary?
I don't remember.
Anyway, let's continue.
that
Rapid
was-
fire.
As in this is rapid, but
This
like
is
as
rapid
a
fire.
quick anecdote, there was a period of time where I saw it was a Keira Knightley, Mark Ruffalo film,
Yeah.
Begin Again, on a plane.
You just
And
kept
I
recommending,
loved it,
yeah.
and I cried, and I kept telling people to watch it. And at some point, I don't know who, but they pulled me aside, and they were like,
dude, it's really bad.
"You've got to stop telling people to watch it because it's awful." And I was like, "No, it's great." And
You
then
rewatched it,
they were like,
it's
"Dude,
awful.
watch it." And I was like, "Oh, this is unwatchable." Next question. Now that your book is out, this is for me.
This is for you.
Do you want to read it? It's
No.
just-
No,
okay.
I don't.
Now that your book is out, can you talk about what you learned from the process and any hot tips you might have? I did a video which was like 3 tips for writers that aren't about writing. My biggest tip from writing the book is like get a good support staff around you of people that like you can trust their judgment on.
Definitely this guy.
So like Ben can't read, so he's like doesn't really count.
No.
But like Laura, Aaron, like also like if you want a good editor, fucking pay them. Like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
It's funny that when you pay someone, they do good work.
And the biggest thing is like study all of the other books in that genre and read a ton of theory. People don't do that enough. They assume that if they're gonna write something, it's gonna be good. You have to read textbooks.
Dave's gonna pull out a textbook.
And some video
Jesus
games. I just dropped a metal case of Skyrim,
Nice.
a Nintendo DS copy of Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship,
Oh my god, that's like your favorite game.
and Killzone 3 for the PlayStation 3. That is an eclectic mix of stuff on top of my textbook. This is the Story Grid by Sean Coyne. I don't love it, but I think that it's a good place to start if you've never if you don't have like a degree or anything. It's a
Yeah.
good place to start. He basically covers the basics of theory, and then no, don't know where it is. I see. It's convenient they're behind me.
Yeah.
And also Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. It's a very basic book on screenwriting. It covers like really basic screenwriting structure. It's the 5 acts and everything.
Move these before they fall over.
Check it out. It's really well written. He's dead now, but it's still a
Oh,
good
that's
book.
unfortunate. Is
Yeah.
the cat? Did he save the cat?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Next question. What's one regret you have with your content?
With my content
Yeah, or I guess like our content. I don't know. It says your. I assume that was emailed to us. I don't know that I have any.
that I haven't haven't stayed consistent with a lot of series, but at the
Yeah.
same time I don't really care. So
Yeah, it's like I think like Offer Artists is like the biggest thing
Yeah.
we've done.
yeah,
So.
so I mean,
I'm pretty happy with it.
we got that going for us.
Yeah, exactly. Any fashion tips? What?
Yeah.
Pick a style and motif, and just like lean into it slowly. People often change too quickly.
Go somewhere to get decent fashion tips.
Yes,
That's my fashion tip.
Go to like
not
actually,
even joking. Like just get a sense of style.
I have this with any style where it's like if there's a celebrity who has like a similar build, kind of dress like kind of match their style to your style, and then if someone has a similar haircut, match what you're doing with your head of them.
Dress
like face wise.
Yeah,
if they have a similar face structure.
Dress to the same level as your boss, and if your boss is dressing casual, don't wear casual.
Mhm.
That's my rule. Don't
Yep.
wear casual to work.
And also
I know so many people that wear casual to work, and
yeah.
it really kind of cringes me and ticks me off a bit.
There's a threshold though where like if you're the right kind of person, you can make it work. But I promise you,
No,
you're not.
you're not.
You're not. Because if you're like asking for fashion tips, you're not that guy.
You're not the kind of person who can pull off casual. Yeah.
And like but like lean into things slowly. Like it took me 2 years to transition from like I got my first pair of skinny jeans and now I can wear ripped skinny jeans. You got to transition slowly.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Last question: what is the weirdest interaction you've had with another creator or
Another
fan?
creator or fan. I mean, I got stalked for a bit when I used to shoutcast for Rise of Immortals. That was fun. I'd just get messages, or they were always like weirdly passive stalkery,
Right.
where they would like proclaim the fact that they really like Australian voices, like on like if there was like a tournament that was being streamed. And there were like 5 to 6 shoutcasters.
Right.
They would just kind of plonk in a comment, be like, "Oh, I really like Australian
was a bit
voices,"
much.
and I'm like the only Australian.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they'll just like pop up on my videos. It's like, no, I'm
I'm fine,
not
thanks.
okay with this.
Well, for a while there was someone when we were at the old house that was commenting on your sock situation.
Oh, yeah. That's I take
that was
my
weird.
back.
Yeah.
That's probably the weirdest one.
Where like they were like, "Hey, nice man, put on some socks."
They
I'm like,
really
"I don't-"
wanted me to put on some socks.
I think that they thought that you were cold, but it's Brisbane, so
But
it's
it
like
really
37
wasn't.
degrees. I don't know.
That was when I was unemployed and I was wearing just like thongs.
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing them now. You can't
Wearing them
see
now, but that's 'cause it's a
of any
weekend.
Setup. Yeah,
Um,
it's a weekend.
And I would always just have like my bare feet in the shot,
Yeah,
which
I
a bit
didn't-
gross, but like,
But like, I didn't
I
think
don't give
anything
a
of
shit.
it. It was quite weird.
And there were like 3 comments. Like
Yeah.
they really tracked down those videos that
I
had
don't-
me in bare feet, and
I don't know that if there's any like weird interactions you have with like fans, because like the only few times
They're
I've met
all
people
online,
that recognize
so, I
our
mean,
content have
yeah.
been like in Melbourne, and they were pretty chill. But like, I mean, like creators, yeah, like or like I'll just be
Ooh,
like when
yeah,
I'm
plenty
just
of
like
creators.
drunk and I'll bump into someone at like a bar, at, midnight, and they're like, "Oh, what's up, man? What's up, DCM?" And I'm like, "I don't know who you are," and they just
Yeah.
know me because they know someone who knows like Sanspants Radio. And they know me through like that. That happens to me a lot. Where they're like, "Oh, you did that interview with Gabe Bergmoser," and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, who the fuck are you?" And they're like, I own this multi-million-dollar podcast empire." And I'm like, "Oh,
good.
cool. I'm 3 tequilas in.
Yeah.
This will be like that kind of thing happens sometimes. Yeah, I don't know that I've had any like super weird ones. I think the weirdest ones are when someone will like message me on like a Discord or like send me an email that it's like, "Hey, we should collab, blah, 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 blah," but like doesn't have any of the things that let you respond to it in any way. So they're like, "Hey, we should collab."
You're
And
like-
"Okay, what do you do? What's your channel?" And I'm like,
You're like,
"Sure, but
"Sure?"
I need more information."
Yeah.
That's always weird because then you have to send an email back and be like, "Okay, what is it? What do you do?"
Like
are
this
you?
isn't a confirmation.
You've
because I'm
not
just trying to
pitched
get more
anything to
information.
me. You've just said we should do it.
Maybe that's like a technique where like then they're trying to just get you to pitch.
Well,
back.
there's
Like the pitch counter pitch.
this is a tip to anyone who wants to work with anyone ever, is when you propose working with
Just
someone,
lay out your cards.
do 2 things. Yeah, exactly. 2 things really easily to lay out your cards. Tell them what you're going to get from it and tell them what they're going to get from it.
Yeah.
And every single time, if you do that, honestly, they will be like, "Yeah, of course."
Or you'll get a no.
And
Which
they'll be
is-
like, they'll be
which is
like,
just
"No."
as good because then you don't have to fuck around.
Or they'll go, "No," and then you go, "Great, but can I buy you a coffee and get your advice?" That's like always a valid option, and everyone wants to feel like they're like a good mentor, and that's something
Sure.
that you can do. But yeah, like that. Actually, that's a good piece of advice to end on. If you want to work with someone, tell them what you're going to get plus what they're going to get from it, and like that way, it's not just a one-sided transaction.
Yeah.
So like when I first emailed Zamet and I was like, "Hey, I'm coming to Melbourne. Can like I hang out and jump on one of your shows?" I didn't just send him an email and being like, "Let me feature on your podcast." It was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this is what I'll get. This is what you'll get. It'll benefit us both. I'd love to, catch up
Yeah.
and get a coffee, whatever."
We'll just put a video up online and wait for them to see it, and then just
Yeah.
kind of get dragged around Australia
Yeah.
by people.
Or do that, or do what I did with Horror Show, and then
Yeah,
just
exactly.
accidentally be like, "Okay, now we're doing something which you can't talk about," but like, yeah, it's like, oops. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of After Artists. It's gonna be a bit of a longer one because these Q&As tend to go on. Hopefully we'll have like the 2-cam setup next week. We're not sure what the timeline's gonna be, but we've also just relaunched the Not Another Smallville podcast, where each week I watch an episode of Smallville with my friend Steph.
You do a lot of things where each week you insert conceit of show.
Consistency is really important for me, otherwise I never fucking do it. It really is.
Do you
like,
open the show with "Welcome to Another Smallville," where each week we watch an episode because you should
probably.
should start.
I think we do, yeah.
to
It's just
steal
like that's
our
how I
intro.
work. Like if I turn up every week and we do it every week, I do
yeah,
it. Otherwise,
exactly.
like I'm like, "Oh, we just do
Would
it."
be 3 episodes and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly. We're on to like season 2, episode 4, so like we've been doing it for a fucking minute. But it's a big reboot of that show. It's coming back in a big way. And yeah, it's really fun. It's just basically a cute podcast where like we recap the episode of Smallville and hang out for like half an hour.
Yeah.
So you can subscribe to it on iTunes, all the other places you get it. If you did enjoy this, do the things you normally do with podcasts and shit. I don't know, whatever. Or don't. It's up to you.
Listen to it again. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll just have like a good day. I don't know. Go outside if
Get some
the
fresh
weather
air.
permits. Get some fresh air. If not, like probably where you live isn't great. So I don't know. Drink. What do drugs? What do you recommend?
Don't do
Oh,
drugs.
sorry. Don't. Saint School.
Yeah,
Don't do
don't do
drugs.
drugs.
But yeah. Thanks for listening and or watching. But if you did want to contribute, Ben, where could people find us?
Patreon. Wait, what? No,
I fucked it up.
Facebook.
At DCMworks Social.
YouTube.
YouTube.com.
I can't believe I
/DCMworks.
started with Patreon.
I don't know. It was
I
very
dropped the ball
forward
on
of
this
you.
one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt like very attacked. Like you
Twitter.
were demanding my money at DCM_works.
Patreon.
Patreon.com.
There we go.
It's always the last one.
It is always the last
I
one.
can plug
because
shit.
then you can pad out the ending
exactly.
with more plugs.
It's not more plug. It's just like the thing that
It's
makes
just
us money.
subplug?
So
Okay.
Don't
the one
fucking
plug.
patronize me.
All right, no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Plug
fine.
as much as you want.
Fine. Patreon.com/DCM works. More than if you donate $3, if you support us for $3 a month, you get access to over 60 episodes of behind-the-scenes content, including like podcasts, videos, all kinds of stuff. Plus, you get early access to certain videos about a week early. So if you're enjoying any of the 3-minute videos we're doing on YouTube, you get those about a week early. I'm really liking that format. Ben's got one coming up on Warframe. If
Don't
he
put
ever
that kind of
gets
pressure
it
on me,
done.
David.
Well, otherwise you'll never fucking do it. So you can check that stuff out. I've been really enjoying doing those videos. So yeah, it's a good place to support us, and you get a bunch of content, and you get to join the community. Patrick Laverne, Yub Kumans, over there having a good chatting up a storm. And each month we started doing monthly Patreon updates where I kind of just talk to you guys about what the plan is. So make sure you check that out. Otherwise, if you want to follow us individually, I'm at DCM I Hate Pie.
I'm at Literal Citrus.
We will see you guys next week.